I asked the Gang of Seven about that, these guys around the league. And I will say this. There's a couple of these guys here that are on really, really good teams, and they didn't pick their own team. They picked somebody else, because they're a little bit worried about that team. But my first general manager guy said this, the first one that chimed in, he says the Cowboys are the best team in the NFL.
Right on, smart man.
Let's go.
He said it's the deepest and it's the most talented roster in the league. Do you guys agree with that?
I don't think so. I'd have to go through every roster, but top of my head.
Yeah, just what you know. I know.
I don't think
you're watching Red Zone and stuff like that.
But I don't think you have a better roster than Tampa, top of my head. Don't you think they probably have more good defensive players than you do?
I think just overall, more. That team that got beat last night has got a lot of players the same way.
See, I think
maybe they don't always play that way.
I think the Rams have zero depth.
The depth is a problem.
The Rams football team,
the talent.
But their team is Stafford, Kupp, Beckham, Donald, Ramsey, Von Miller. That's their team. Jordan Fuller's an okay player. Yeah. That is the most top-heavy team because of the way they built it. Their guys who have to start are 5th and 6th rounders instead of 2nd and 3rd rounders because they had to trade those picks.
Right.
So I think the Rams have to be healthy or they're dead. And I don't think that's true of the Cowboys. The Cowboys are able to overcome a lot of different little things because they do draft and develop. They haven't had to trade 2 1s for this guy, a 1 and a 2 for this guy, 2 1s for that guy.
Yeah.
They've actually gotten to keep their guys.
We've established that Les Snead hates drafting. Yes. Is what we've established. He even told me that. Okay, my next guy just said this. He split this up. He did it on the AFC and then on the NFC. He said, I really like the Pats in the AFC. He says the continuity on the staff on both sides of the ball. He goes, I think their defense is really coming along. I like the balance there. He says, I like Green Bay in the NFC. He says they're playing great on defense. They have a quarterback, and he says they have a running game that I like. He says because both these teams, their offensive line's on the rise. So he was saying Patriots in the AFC.
Patriots.
And NFC, he was saying the Green Bay Packers for those reasons.
I have a hard time thinking it's going to be the Patriots with that passing game. Maybe Mac Jones is going to end up being a damn fine quarterback, but I don't know if he has the experience or the players or the trust of his head coach. I think you can limit mistakes in your passing game and play good defense and win a lot of regular season games. I really do. But you're going to have to put it on your quarterback and your wide receivers to make big plays against the best defenses. That strategy is not going to work, even in the divisional round. You got to get a lot better, I think, at least skill players, in order for you to convince me New England's going to be back in there.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, though. I would have probably picked somebody else, but I like what he was saying about Green Bay, though, because of their defense is getting better, the quarterback in the game. Okay, one of my other general managers, Dallas. Legitimate, explosive offense.
Smart guy.
That 2 out of 3 now going Dallas?
Yeah, 2 out of 3 right now going Dallas. He says explosive offense was the main reason right there. Didn't say anything about the defense at all. But kind of what we were all talked about. It's going to be about this offense winning these football games, right?
Can we say for sure right now that playing with the lead, this Cowboys defense is very good?
I think that's exactly what you have to have. I knew that when Denver, when all of a sudden they weren't converting third downs and wasn't scoring. I mean, it might even be
probably also why they came out and won the coin toss and said, ball, please.
Yeah, ball, please.
Instead of the deferring.
Yeah, exactly.
We will take the ball.
I just kind of feel like, though, it might not be about the points. It might be about just keeping them off the field, not getting exposed to a lot of snaps. Like in that game, it was over 70 snaps for the Broncos, and they only had, I think, 57 total. So it might be about limiting the number of snaps that defense has to face on there. Okay, here's another GM. He said Green Bay. He said Rodgers is in FU mode. He says Aaron Jones, I know he's short-term hurt. Betting on Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander returning, and he goes, home field advantage could be huge for them. So that the general manager thought that the Packers were the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, and their defensive thing, a couple of different games that I've watched of theirs. One of them I think was Collinsworth was the color commentator, but they kept talking about Devondre Campbell, a linebacker for the Packers, who I'd heard his name, never even thought of him as a good player. And like this year, apparently he's the best player on the Packers defense. And sometimes that's the stuff that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Didn't expect much out of Cowboys. Jaron Kearse. I didn't even know if he was going to make the team.
Yeah.
And like he's got the green dot on his helmet. And for Green Bay, they've had some guys go down, and it's like, hey, what about this guy who you expected nothing out of? Hey, he's the leader of the defense. I think they got some of that going on too.
Yeah, I do agree. I think, it's kind of like the Cowboys. I mean, they've got a couple of guys coming back too with the Packers, so it might be interesting who takes advantage of their returning players down the stretch here. Okay, another GM guy. He says Tennessee. He says Tennessee's the best coach team in the league, and they're the toughest.
Wow, it's quite a compliment.
This is a crusty guy, by the way. So
They're very tough.
He's gonna love a team that kind of tries to run the ball and is physical and is well coached. That's going to be his kind of a thing. So there's guys like that. I don't have enough of these crusty guys, but Tennessee though.
I think the name to know in Tennessee, the games that I've watched of theirs live. Jeffrey Simmons is a stud.
He is a stud.
Like that might be the best not Aaron Donald D tackle in football.
Yeah, I mean the first year, remember he's injured, he didn't even play.
Yeah, he was a first round pick with a torn ACL.
Yeah, torn ACL. They were betting on we're going to get him ready, and I think he's got 5 sacks in 3 games or something like that. He's on some crazy run right now.
I forgot which good team. I think it was the Chiefs when they smoked the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Jeffrey Simmons destroyed the Chiefs.
Exactly. Okay, here's another GM. He said, man, that's a tough one. He says, Green Bay or Dallas? He says, both sides of the ball playing at a high level in all phases. Have talent, have the quarterback. He said, I would like Buffalo if they had a running game, but they refuse to run the ball. So
sounds like a good reason to like him.
Yeah, he was saying he goes, hey, I would like Buffalo if they ran the ball, but they just don't. But he was saying, he goes, Green Bay or Dallas, because of both sides playing at a high level on all phases and have talent and have a quarterback. Okay.
And the Titans have beaten some monsters. It's really hard to go against them.
They went 4 straight that they were beating playoff teams.
Yeah.
They had a run there where they'd beaten 4 or 5 playoff teams in a row.